everybody. It's your favorite person coming back to you again for the Winter Summit. I am Marquita Riley. I am the Outreach and Student Programs Manager, y'all. Got a little upgrade here recently at Sweet HQ. Thank you all for joining us this evening for a very special session with Deysi Melgar. She's going to be teaching us a little bit about her background and kind of having you all do a couple activities with her. And of course, it's going to give us a little special understanding of what it's like to go from Broadway to the pilot seat and how to take the center stage. That's the most important part. Now, if you have not grabbed that QR code on the screen already, make sure you take a couple moments to do that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so the next part that we always have to do because we appreciate them is a special thank you to our SHLA sponsors, Motorola Solutions Foundation, General Motors, Amateur Radio Digital Communications, Akamai Foundation, and Turner Construction, because we all know without y'all, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here at SWE. So thank you guys so much for all that you give to us so that we're able to give back to our students. So I usually don't do this, but I know we have a couple newbies that are joining us for the first time. So I want to make sure you all have a little bit of understanding of what this program is all about. What is SHLA? Some people pronounce it SHLA, some people pronounce it something else. So I want to make sure we're clear. SHLA is how it's pronounced. And what is that? It is the SWE High School Leadership Academy. It is an engaging virtual year-round program, used to be in person. It has 3 week-long summit weeks. So basically, we just moved it from just being one-day event to now being a full week, and we have that throughout the year. It builds up confidence and resilience amongst high school students that are interested in engineering and technology degrees. It provides them with multiple opportunities to network with their peers, mentors, role models, and industry professionals. So something that I always want to highlight is what is all of this about? So what are we going to focus in on as you guys are taking this journey with us throughout the year? It'll be 5 key program tracks for STEM success. So everybody comes to us and they're asking like, what is all of this thing called STEM? What is engineering? How do I get more information about it? And so we've kind of figured out exactly what you guys typically need as you all are preparing for that career. And we know that it is college preparation, STEM pathways, leadership, self-development, and cultural awareness and inclusion that are key components to your success. So make sure you keep that in mind as you start to see our sessions. There might be some that highlight certain things and others that highlight other things that you might be more interested in. But all of these things are important for you to become well-rounded in the industry. So just a little thought process as you all are planning your sessions of which ones you're going to attend. 2 modes of delivery are going to be available to you as you're participating live now. This is one. And then we also have on-demand recordings that are available after the session is over with. It's available through the Google Classroom as well as the SWENEX TV channel on our YouTube channel for SWENEX as well. All sessions have a Google takeaway assignment that you will complete after the session is over with. You will need to complete 10 of those session assignments in order for you to receive your certificate of completion. And trust me, you want that certificate of completion. It's going to work well for you in your future, girls. It will grant you also access to the graduation ceremony that will be happening on April 21st. So just keep all those things in mind as you guys are going through this program. I always make sure to highlight something just in case people have questions. And if this is not enough information for you, feel free to email us at swenex@swe.org and I'll make sure to get you all set up. So next on our list is what are we going to be learning today? The quick wins that you're going to be taking away from today's session is adaptability, positive attitude, thinking logically, and for every problem, there is at least one solution. So I am excited. I am just elated to have this young lady with us tonight. I think she's going to give you all a phenomenal experience this evening. So I'm going to step away from the mic and bring her forward and let you guys know that this young lady has done everything from Broadway, literally, taking on those risks to just go and put yourself out there in theater, which is a lot to be in front of a huge audience, to now actually piloting planes 30,000 feet in the air, which is a risk in itself, pivoting those two roles, right? But she made it happen. And so you're going to be hearing a little bit about how she made that happen tonight. So without further ado, I want her to take you to higher heights and get you flying on your own as you guys go through this program. And I would like to warmly welcome Deysi Melgar.
There we go. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are having an awesome Monday. Great start to your week. My name is Deysi Melgar. Thank you, Marquita, for that awesome introduction. I started my career. I wanted to be a Broadway actress. That's what I always dreamed of being on stage and just performing for an audience. And then in high school, I went to a performing arts high school. I got the opportunity to study theater. And that was the ultimate goal. But then I also got introduced to engineering and science. So then I kind of switched things up a little bit. I don't know how many of you out there just like to do a lot of things, right? You like to do, whether it's, go to the gym or work out, do cheerleading, do gymnastics, but also dance and act and sing. And there's so many things that we become passionate about, and we want to do them all. And the problem is, can we do them all? And yes, we can. We can do a little bit of everything, right? It's all about how you tackle on that time, right? It's all about time management and being able to do every little thing that makes you happy. So from going into theater and acting, I wanted to follow and pursue engineering. So I just took on a part-time job working at the airport, and then I fell in love with airplanes. And all I wanted to be was around airplanes. And so I made a career out of working at the airport and traveling, because I love to travel as well. I love to go and discover different countries, understand different cultures, and just be exposed completely to all these different sides of the world that if it weren't for airplanes, I don't think we would be able to go and see them unless we took a boat and a ship, and that would take forever. So then after a couple of years, I started my flight training. I've actually been flight training for about 1 year and 3 months now, because the ultimate goal is I do want to become a commercial pilot. So little by little, we can take a little bit of everything that we love to do and explore. So I want to take you on to my next slide, which is just a little video of me flying an airplane all by myself. Doing one of my solo cross country. So go ahead, Marquita, and play.
Cessna 01 Delta, left turn out to the southeast approved, runway 26, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff for runway 26, left turn approved, 5301 Delta.
Cessna 4 Uniform Delta, runway 26, clear touch and go, traffic, Cessna departing prior to your arrival.
Runway 26, clear touch and go, traffic side point.
All right, so that was just a quick snippet of one of my my solo flights that I just recently did a couple of weeks ago, and it was flying from one airport to another all by yourself, and you have to create a flight plan and follow it all manually. But it was really fun. Do I have any pilots in the making out there? Anybody that wants to fly an airplane, that wants to become a pilot in the near future? we have a couple of people raising their hands. That's awesome. I mean, it's never too late to start flight training. I just started in my 30s, so it's totally never too late to pursue a career or do a career change, right? Maybe you started doing something that you're passionate about, and then something else sparks a passion and you go on to that. That's totally okay. It's never too late to change gears. Everything you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. Remember that. So do we ever have any, Marquita, we can go ahead to the next slide. So a lot of times we often put ourselves and we give ourselves excuses, right? To not do something. Why shouldn't I go? I put this as an example all the time because I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to go to the gym today. That's an excuse right there. Or why did I put flight training off for so long? Because I was following other passions. Or should I sign up for that class that I really wanted to take? Or maybe not because it's at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're always often putting excuses to not do something. But why? If it's something that we want to do, why are we putting excuses to not do it? Is there anything that you've always wanted to do that you constantly saying, I want to do it, but you don't do it? Put it in the chat box. I want to see your comments. You always wanted to be a starter on a sports team, but it never been chosen as a first pick. I guess I don't ask the coach. That's a great example as to why am I not being picked first? Why am I not starting? You go up to that coach and you say, you know what? I want to start. What does it take for me to be a starter on a team? Anybody else? Anybody else want to share? Play the saxophone, but never transferred into the class. Why not? Right? Is it because it doesn't fit your schedule? You have to stay after school for so long? Like, why are we often putting excuses to not do something that we want to do, right? And it's totally fine, right? That we have these excuses, but we have to fight through them. If it's something that makes us happy, why aren't we actually following through and making it happen? So we think about all these big obstacles in the way, but are there really obstacles, or are we just putting ourselves down and saying, you know what? It's not for me. But if that's what you want to do, it's for you. We can achieve anything we want to. Marquita, let's go to the next slide. And we can share towards the end more about these. We'll go back to these questions when we go into the Q&A, so we can share a little bit more of everyone's experience. All right, so your challenge for today, you're on a mission. An instrument malfunction causes you to crash on the moon on the daylight side about 75 miles from the base. Your spacecraft is in need of repair, and your survival depends upon reaching the moon base as soon as possible. How are you feeling? You just landed, your aircraft it just crashed, your spacecraft just crashed. Now you got to fix it. You're running out of light. How are you feeling? How are you going to handle the stressful situation? And remember, you're not alone. You have a team. There's people in here going through the same thing you are. Let's see, nervous? You'll take a deep breath and attempt to find a solution. That's right. For every problem, we have a solution. It might not be the greatest solution, but there's a solution for every problem. And someone says, yeah, you don't get to go into space without the right practice and experience. You're right. All those astronauts that are out there, they've been going through training, just like pilots go through training, just like scientists go through schoolwork. Everybody has to go through some kind of training to be able to perform their jobs to the best of their abilities. Somebody will probably freak out, and that's completely fine too. I would be too. I'd be like, what am I gonna do? But once you take a deep breath, bring yourself back together, you continue moving forward. Okay, Marquita, let's go to the next slide. All right, so these are the items that you have in your spacecraft that you're going to use to bring your spacecraft back to life and bring it to base. So I need you to rank these items from the most important one to the least important one. What are you going to use? So you will be separated into groups. And then first you're going to rank them, what you think as a person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 15 should be most important to least important. And then you're going to, in your groups, you're going to go ahead and rank them as well. And then we'll see what the experts rank this list as the most important and the least important. All right, how was that activity? And type in the box. I know it might have been a little bit stressful, a little bit more confusing at the beginning, but overall, did everybody get to rank all of the items from the least important to the most important? Yes, it's fun to rationalize. Good. Yeah, okay, so you obviously have to think logically, right? Like, what are you gonna do with, for example, a case of dehydrated pet milk? Is that important? Is that not important? Some may think that, you might need it for food purposes, but there's also food concentrate, right? So I want to share what the experts ranking was, and I want you to compare to obviously your ranking and then your team's ranking, which is the most important because you all work together on ranking as a team. And I want to get a little bit of feedback from you all to see how does it compare to what you actually thought of. So Marquita, do you want to share her answers? Drum roll, please. Ta-da! All right, so number one answer, the 200-pound tanks of oxygen. Let's see. Did everyone think that was number one? Say yes if you got it. All right, number two, we had 5 gallons of water. Let's see. Yes. Why is water important? Staying hydrated in outer space. Okay, number 3, a stellar map of the moon's constellation. Why do you think that's important? I know I have a map in the background of me right now. It's important to guide you where you're supposed to go. You don't want to get lost and start going the wrong way. It's happened to me before. Thank you, GPS. Okay, so number 3, we said there was a stellar map. Number 4, the food concentrate. Important to have some food. If you're going to either be walking for a long time or you're going to be out there for hours, it's important to have some food to go in your system, right? Number 5, solar power FM receiver transmitter. That's important because anybody out there, put it in chat. Why do you think that's important? Let's see if anybody will go ahead and tell me. The FM receiver for communication with the mothership. Yes, that's important. Okay, let's see. Number 6, 50 feet of nylon rope. Why would we use nylon rope? What do you think is the purpose? What if you were injured, right? What if you were injured? That would help you to kind of help your injured fellow teammates, pull them over, or for climbing if you need to climb any place. Let's see. Number 7, first aid kit containing injection needles, like we talked about if anybody's injured. Number 8, parachute silk. Number 9, life raft, in case you need to put it out there, bring it over. Let's see. Number 10 is the signal flares. Maybe you can signal stuff in space. Number 11, 2.45 caliber pistols, maybe to project, the force from the pistols can project you forward. Number 12, 1 case of dehydrated pet milk. I still don't think that's important. 13, portable heating units. What are you going to heat up in space, right? You're in the moon. 14 is a magnetic compass. I don't think that's really going to work out there. And number 15, a box of matches. Box of matches, there's no oxygen over there. So obviously you can't turn those on. So that is what the experts ranking of the list of items was. Who got them all right? Anybody, any group got them all right? Go ahead, put the yes if you got them all right. Because if you did, it's awesome. Congratulations. When I first did this activity, I didn't get most of them right. Oh, Isha says her group was closed. Awesome. All right. So, Marquita, I know we're running out of time here. We'll go ahead and go to the takeaways. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you all, someone said, nope, not even close. That's okay. That's okay. So we talk about, you're put in a situation that you have no control over, right? What is the first thing you got to do? You got to adapt to your situation, right? Take a deep breath. You're saying to yourself, you know what? Now I'm placed in this situation. We're going to figure it out. What is the first course of action? Take the deep breath. And once you release all that, all right, we got this. We can do this. Maintaining that positive attitude. It's key, especially in a stressful situation. Or sometimes, your anxiety might could come up. You're nervous because it might not be the best solution, but we got to stop and think logically. Just like we say all the time, mathematics, there's no wrong solution, because you finally get your 1 + 1 is equal to 2 or 2 + 2 is equal to 4. Like mathematics is very standard. You think logically when it comes to problems like this. And then, like I said before, there's always a solution, whether it's the right solution or maybe it's not the best solution, it's still a solution. So you got to talk about that with your teammates. Everybody has to bring something to the table. So I want to get, yes. So adaptability, you have to maintain a positive attitude. You got to think logically, right? Don't go, sometimes your feelings might get in the way, and that's totally okay. But when it comes to a situation where you don't have control of what just happened, like in this case, your spacecraft crashed and you got to get it up and running. You got to maintain the positive attitude, think logically, and figure out that there is one solution to that problem. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? We can move on to the next slide, Marquita. I want to hear from you all.
I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah, so I want to hear from you all. What did you think? What was your first approach to tackling on this task of ranking these items? What did you first think? Communication. So I hear somebody put down there communication. What do you need to live? That's important, right? So those are common questions that you have to ask yourself. Okay, how do I survive this? What are some things that I'm going to need? So definitely wanted to start with the basic survival needs and then start thinking about what we need to get back to base. Perfect. So think about your survival first, because if you're not surviving, you're not going to make it back. So important, oxygen. What is the most important? Trying to see what the least important thing was and what was the most important, then do the middle ground. Okay. Necessities. What were some of the necessities, right? What do we need to survive? Water, oxygen, food. And see what makes logical sense to be ranked as a priority. Yeah, prioritizing. What do you prioritize from the top to the bottom, or least priority from the bottom to the top. However you approach this, you always got to go back to thinking, okay, if I'm going to survive this, one, I need to survive myself, but two, then how do I bring myself to the mothership, right? Awesome. Let's see. So for the least important, what doesn't work in space? Well, you can make fire in space because there's no oxygen. Any other questions? Put them in the chat so I can read them, or any other comments. But my final remark to you all, and it's truly what I want you all to take away from this, is to stay true to yourself, and whatever you want to achieve, anything and everything is possible. So I started my session with, I went from wanting to be an actress to now becoming a pilot, and in the middle ground I studied physics because I wanted to be an engineer. And you can achieve them all. There is no there's nothing that can stop you from doing what you want to do. If you want to play sports, then go for it. If you want to, you know, make computer programs that make people laugh, go for it. I mean, anything and everything is possible as long as you want to do it, you want to achieve it, you have the discipline, you have the time. It all comes down to you. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else have any other questions or comments? I hope you all really enjoyed this activity. It's one of my favorite activities to do, just so that we can figure out how do we think, how do our brains think, right? Not everybody's brains think the same, but it's fun. I did it before, so I know what you went through and thinking, how does that work? Why is that not important? But all right, so I think my time is almost over. Marquita?
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about like just the engineering design process. You know, I think that a lot of times we have to work through these things. So I find every bit of what you said applicable, right? So I just want to open the floor up to maybe let's ask some questions to Deysi that may not be related to the activity, but you're curious. Maybe you're curious about her background and how she was able to make that transition from being in theater to being a pilot. Or maybe there's some other questions that you have personally that you might want to ask her. I'm going to open up the floor by having you all raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and do maybe about 3 to 5 questions. So I'm going to open the floor now and just use the raise your hand function if you want to ask a question. Okay, we're going to go with Audrey. Go ahead and unmute, or you can type your question in the chat box.
Pertaining to like your theater career, what shows were you in?
So I went to performing arts high school in Boston. So a lot of the shows that I did were for like high school shows. I did a lot of Shakespeare and musicals, but I did get to participate in High School Musical, the tour on Broadway, in which that was fun.
Oh,
yeah, it was like back a long time ago.
Still relevant.
Yeah, so and that was fun. So those are where like I said, most of the Shakespearean plays that you can think of nowadays, I did them in high school, all throughout high school.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions? Go ahead. Don't be afraid to raise those hands. Are they, if they're in the chat, Mary, can you call them out for me?
How did you balance the art side of you while balancing your STEM side?
That's a great question. So my school actually really focused on the academic side of it. We're taught to be artist scholars. So they would, we would have either We would have our theater classes in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we would go ahead and do all of our academics. And then afterwards, we would stay and, do rehearsals for any play. So our days were very, very long. And it was challenging at times, especially if you had a test the next day, whether it was in your theater class where you had to memorize a monologue, or, in your math class and your calculus class or engineering class. But when you're passionate about something, you always make it happen. You don't know how you're going to get there, but you're going to get there, and you figure it out as you go. We had a really good support system where the teachers were also artists. So they had gone through that as well. So we had a really good support system all throughout my 4 years in high school, where I was able to, hey, I had a long night last night. I stayed till really late because we had rehearsals. I wasn't able to get the reading, but I will get it to you today. Can you just work with me? Just being able to talk and communicate with your teachers was key, because they understood that, if you are staying really late for rehearsals and the next day you have a test or you have an exam or you have an essay due and you didn't get to it, they understand that. And they would work with you. So communication is key for balancing that, and then time management, to be honest.
Okay, here's another question. What skills did you use from theater to help you with aviation?
Memorizing.
I was going to ask you, was that helpful, the memorization part? Yeah.
It is. So you have to learn a lot of regulations. The FAA has so many regulations. They have a thick book like this called the FAR AIM, and you have to remember all the regulations. So yeah, thank you, theater. Memorization helped me.
That's so good. And Hannah, she actually had her hand raised, so I'm going to jump to her real fast. Hannah, if you want to unmute or type it in the chat.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar question that was mentioned before, but how did you manage your time? Because I'm sure it was not difficult, first of all, switching career paths and also going to school and all that. So I'm wondering, what did you find was the best way for you to manage your time?
So I use this little tool that we all have nowadays. It's called a phone, and just literally using it with to-do lists and reminders, and just say, okay, so if I have a test tomorrow, I'm giving myself from 5 to 7 to study. So AKA 5 to 7, you study. At 7 o'clock, you're ending and you're moving on to the next activity or the next thing. And throughout my life, and even in my career now, that is one of the biggest things that you have to work on. We tend to put pressure on ourselves by doing things last minute because we work well under pressure, right? Last minute, I got this, I can do this, and I'm going to work better. But wouldn't it be nice to just be able to relax, finish what you're doing, be like, okay, I'm done, moving on. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I did that throughout high school, where I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to finish tasks last minute because I worked well under pressure, and it doesn't work like that in real life. So
burnout. That's what that's called, burnout. You'll burn out.
Yeah, you do get burnt out. So that's why I started utilizing the tools that I have in my hands, whether it's a calendar, a digital calendar online, or an agenda. I still use a physical agenda because I like to cross things out. There's something about crossing something out that just makes you feel like you have accomplished something. So whatever tools you use, whether you're on the digital side or you're more on the manual side, utilize them. They're there for that reason. Whether it's a planner and you plan out your whole week. I even plan out my meals. That's how detailed I am nowadays. I plan out my meals. So yeah, I hope that helps.
That's called growth. That's growth that I'm seeing.
Here's a question. Do you know about any summer opportunities for aspiring teens?
In terms of what? In
summer opportunities, so summer jobs.
I mean, there's plenty. There's plenty of things, especially now companies are hiring like crazy. So there are opportunities everywhere. I know particularly if you want to work in the aviation industry, you do have to at least be 18 years of age. So if you are 18 years of age, find your local airport. They are hiring right now. If you're aspiring to be a pilot, you can find a local school, and just become, like an admin person, and then get to fly lessons for free. That's a good one. In terms of theater, there's plenty of theater opportunities out there, summer programs, and even scholarships. I'm not sure if you're, I know the Boston area because I'm from Boston, but I don't know in your area, you can always just Google things and they will pop up. I'm pretty sure there are plenty out there. So just a matter of research.
Any other
Thanks.
questions? Mm-hmm. Deysi, I kind of want to ask a little bit, how did you end up finding your way to Design Squad? Because I know that you were, so it's kind of like you did both, right? So you were featured, on screen, right? But you're also using some of that engineering background too. So how were you able to find your way doing some work for them? And you can share a little bit about what you did there as well.
So actually, this is just like how life happens, right? When you want to do something so bad, you have it in your mind and you see it and you envision it and you attract it and it happens. And I'm an avid believer of that. So I was actually walking in the hallway of my high school, going to my advisory, and I see a piece of paper on the ground that says auditions for Design Squad. And I said, oh, like, what is this? Somebody had dropped this piece of paper, and I looked it up and I said, I want to audition. Sure, why not? And then I researched, I contacted, I made my audition appointment, and I discovered that it was a show about engineering. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love math. I love science. I love engineering. This is a great opportunity. I get to act. Well, it was really more a reality show, not really acting, but I still get to be on TV and I get to do engineering and do cool stuff. So then I auditioned and I got the part, and I became a participant on the show. That I got to compete for a $10,000 scholarship from Intel so I can go to college and pursue engineering. And then because my college did not have an engineering program, I became a physics major. So I have an undergraduate degree in physics, which is still pretty cool to my understanding. Everybody always says physics is so hard, but to be honest, it was fun learning about how the world works. That's just really how I explain it to people. And then afterwards, I got the opportunity to become the co-host of the show, and I get to meet people just like you all and participate in events like this. And I love to do this because these are opportunities that, I didn't necessarily have them growing up, and the fact that they exist now, I love to share these things and my kind of like upbringing with you all, so that you can know that you can still do it. You can do whatever you choose to do in life, as long as
how that came together, that full circle story. Like, here she was on this side of it, and she was able to merge it with something else and got a great opportunity out of it. So I'm sorry, I had to ask that, because I'm sure a lot of them are probably thinking something similar. Like, I love the arts, but I also really love engineering. Like, how do I make these two concepts work together? And there you go, bam, along with a little divine alignment, I guess, right? Everything just
attract those positive thoughts.
Yes. Mary, we're going to take one more question because we're at 7:40.
Yes, there was just a person who was wondering, can you get free flying lessons in high school?
So to be honest, if you want to start a pilot career, you can start at 14 years of age. You can you can get your private pilot certificate before you can even get your driver's license. So that is possible. You can be flying a plane before you can be driving a car. That is so cool to me. So what a lot of people do is that they start working for a flight school so that they can, pay. Basically, they're getting paid to pay for school. There's a lot of scholarships, just like an FYI. There's plenty of scholarships. All right. And then this is another little bit fact. There are 2% of female pilots right now. So the scholarships for female pilots is huge. So there's plenty of opportunities out there. So don't let money be a factor of you not pursuing your dream or your career in aviation. So.
Increase that diversity, guys.
Yes, we need more female pilots.
Yes, I love seeing female pilots. I love seeing people of color that are pilots. It always makes me smile on the inside because I know that it takes a lot of work, but they made it happen. So don't be discouraged, guys. It's possible. All right. Well, I am going to close out our Q&A here, guys. I think that was a nice wrap up, little inspiration towards the end for you guys to take away with you. So we're going to go ahead and move on. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and email us afterwards, just to, prevent us from kind of taking up too much time. So if you want to leave them in the chat, that's fine. We'll have a receipt of that. Or you can simply send them to the Google Classroom. Just leave them for me. I'll make sure Deysi gets it and you guys get your questions answered as well. So right now you're seeing on the screen your post-event survey. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you finish this first. We need to know how we did this evening. Deysi wants your feedback. I want your feedback. Mary wants your feedback. So yes, please use the QR code on the screen. And I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to grab the link, but actually, you know what? I don't have to grab the link because you'll get a reminder email after this event is over with a link to the survey as well. So you're not going to miss this opportunity to give feedback. So you should be getting it around, or if you have not, it'll be around 7:45. So the link will be in there as well as all the other additional information from this session and where you can access the content as well in the Google Classroom along with the class code. But I'm going to give you about a minute to go ahead and jot down this QR code and do the survey really fast. And while we're waiting, let's just do some direct feedback. How are you guys feeling after this session? Let us know in that chat or unmute. I love both. How you all feeling?
Very inspired to go towards like interdisciplinary fields and like just doing different stuff, but somehow putting it all together.
I like that. I like that. Anybody else? How we feeling? Or are you saving it for the survey? Wink, wink. I'm okay with that too.
No, we got some comments. Someone's feeling great. Someone's feeling super inspired. You're an inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, they said you are an inspiration. You're super inspiring. You're feeling great. I like that. Those that are watching on demand, that box was nothing but a chat box. Sorry about that, but I just wanted to catch those. I agree. I agree. Very inspiring. What else we got, Deysi?
Someone else put, I feel super inspired to start doing things to help my future more. Yes. Yes, it's never too late. Start it now. Now is the time.
Yes, you got it. All I can think of is me not taking advantage of the opportunity when my father actually got free flight lessons because I was so scared. It's like, put us back on the ground. I can't, but he did great. I was just like, I think I'm just still not working through those heights.
You want to know something like undisclosure here? So I'm actually scared of heights. But when I'm flying, I feel at most at peace. So
wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Like I am so scared of heights, but when I'm flying, I don't feel scared at all. It's just like I love to see the sun and the clouds and the horizon, and it's just so beautiful up there. I literally feel at peace. So
I'll try it again. I was a little embarrassed because my niece was on there too, and she was like having the time of her life, and I'm over here like this on the small plane, like please put us down.
Do it.
I'll do it again. I'll try it again.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that cool though? Like that makes you be at peace even though you're scared of heights. Oh, and y'all, you said I've always had really different interests and I was always told to pick something and stick with it forever, but you inspired me so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, they said you're so cool. Very satisfied because it helped me answer a lot of lingering questions. I love theater, but never knew how to balance it, which is awesome. I love this. This is what we're looking for. All right, so we're going to move on because we're at 7:46 and we want to be mindful of the time. Thank you all so much for that feedback. Again, I want to close us out with a special thank you to our sponsors, Motorola Solutions Foundation, General Motors, Amateur Radio Digital Communications, Akamai Foundation, and Turner Construction first, and then I'm going to move on to our host for this evening. Thank you so much, Deysi. You did an amazing job. I think you inspired each and every one of us to take that center stage, take that risk. You know, we all got to fly high. I was going to sing a song that none of these young folks are going to know. I'm thinking of Jim Jones, We Fly High. So yeah. But that's like, it really makes me think like we can go to higher heights. We just have to challenge our minds to think outside of the box on how we can merge all of our worlds together and our interests. So just love you for that. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us again. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm going to give us a little bit of SHLA news here at the end so you guys know what's coming next and you all know where to show up and when to show up. Up next, we have Empowering Others in STEM on November 30th at 6:30 p.m. CT. So make sure you come back here tomorrow. Wednesday, December 1st, we take a quick break. There will be no sessions, so feel free to relax and lay back for that one day. Then we're going right back into it. On deck, we have Creating a Leadership Experience with Turner Construction panelists on December 2nd at 6:30 p.m. CT. Again, I want to make sure everybody knows that this information, along with the PowerPoint slide deck, the sheets, again, I know they didn't work out so well today, but the sheets will be available in the Google Classroom and they will work right within there. If you need the class code, we were going to protect the SHLA students that are in there, so we're not going to share it here, but you can email us at sweetnext@swe.org if you would like to get the class code to enter into the classroom as well. Again, that's where all your Google takeaway assignments are going to be. Any PowerPoint slide decks from any of the sessions, any of the material associated with it will be available within the Google Classroom. Again, I want to do a special little shout out for anybody who's interested in becoming a SHLA ambassador. Some of you might be asking, what is that? It's a leadership opportunity where you can take on 3 different roles, from co-moderating a session to doing a recruitment video for SweetNext and SHLA, to being our social media influencer. I know a lot of you all are on those on the internets and doing the Instagram and the TikTok, and so we want to put those good skills to use by becoming an ambassador. You can learn more about that program by emailing us with your interest at sweetnext@swe.org, or you can hop into the Google Classroom where we put a little bit more information about the program and what you could be doing as well within the Google Classroom. Again, so we want you to share what you're learning and how you're putting it into action. So it's a great opportunity. Feel free to ask more questions through the email. I'm here to answer them. Thank you all so much for your time this evening. I appreciate you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.